Whenever we figure out too, you're going to need to turn 90 degrees or 180 degrees because you got that sun right behind your head.
Yeah.
You look like a like a painting from 1600s. You got, you got your halo around you.
There we go.
Well, maybe that wasn't the sun. Maybe that was your halo. Sorry.
Remember to subscribe to our channel.
Hey everyone, welcome to this next episode of Leaning In. I'm Eric Whitley with Leading to Lean, and today I got with me really just one of my best friends in the world, a guy that I've spent a lot of time with. I'll tell you, when Glade and I first really got to know each other, and I don't know if he remembers this or not, but we'll talk a little bit about it, but we were supervisors quite a few years ago in a manufacturing plant together. And we were both there late night one night. It was really late. I mean, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think Glade discovered somebody had a stash of ice cream and I think it was in the plant manager's office. And I remember Glade called me and said, "Hey, come up here." And so like 2 o'clock in the morning, there we sat eating ice cream, kind of getting to know each other, stashed away in the plant manager's office somewhere. And it was a special moment for me. I know because I remember it still to this day. It's got to be 25 years ago or something, Glade, I would say. So he's the general manager at Horizon Metals. And I think, is it in Nephi, Utah, Glade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
foundry operation.
Good foundry operation in Nephi, Utah. Glade is also the dubious. He's the mayor of Nephi, Utah as well. So, buddy, thanks for joining me on this vlog. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hey, I want to. One of the things that I've been talking about lately is just this culture of lean and this culture of continuous improvement. And I know you and I have spent a lot of days together. Just for the audience here, we work together as supervisors in a manufacturing plant. Later, we have worked together as consultants in big truck manufacturing plants. We did that for a while. We've done other projects together. We walked through the woods hunting elk together. So we spent some time, and I know things have kind of changed over the years. So, from your position, kind of general manager, consultant, talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on how has lean and how has this culture changed over the years?
That's a great question. I feel like it's now less of a program. I think initially it was a program. It was viewed as a recipe, even many times a flavor of the month or whatever. I believe it's endured. It's very successfully endured. And the reason for that is it has morphed into a culture, more of a culture and a mindset. One of the original books by Womack, Lean Thinking. And I love that. And I've said all along, everybody, whoever is the audience, lean thinking is the goal. We want to think lean and let that emanate into every other part of our life, our professional life, our work life, as well as elsewhere. It all works. It is a set of principles that need to be learned, taught, and then implemented in a custom way. As we've seen, I think anybody who's been around that part of a continuous improvement world has seen that there is you can pick up. Right now, I'm managing. We're implementing lean in this foundry. There, nowhere on any shelf or within any archives is there a book that perfectly describes a recipe of implementing lean at Horizon Metals. The principles need to be understood and then implemented and applied in a unique custom manner that fits with whatever the environment or the operation is. And so I think there's a pretty good grasp of that in the production world, because we've seen that over time.
Yeah, one of the things that I have watched happen over the years is that, when you and I started off learning these principles back when we were much younger men, and, there really wasn't any how-to books. There wasn't really, you talked about Mr. Womack's book. You talked about, some of the books that were coming out of productivity and press at the time from Shingo and some of those other books from Mr. Toyota and Awada and those guys. But Taiichi Ono, of course, right? But there really wasn't a lot of how-to. But what we see now is what you have generations of people that are coming into the workforce that now have studied this in academia, right? They've gone to college and they've taken lean classes in college. So there's been a lot of change, but the principles are the same, right? So what are some of those lasting principles that you kind of still adhere to when you go into a new plant like Horizon and implement this thought process? What are some of those principles that you adhere to?
Everybody needs to understand. So it's training. It make sure, as you said, thankfully, many more curriculums have included lean education and those principles. So got to get everybody with the same level of understanding on terminology and the kata, the way of it. So that's critical. That hasn't changed. Don't think it will ever change. Trust, as you said, all these years and all this water's gone by in the river of life. And the longer I do this, the more I believe firmly that trust helps everything. Everything is smoother, faster, easier, happier with trust in any relationship, and that applies in the workplace. And so with a foundation of understanding of the lean principles and a trust that goes both ways, upper management trusting those organizationally below them and those the floor level, those with their actual hands on the operations, trusting their leadership, amazing things can happen. And yet, and I'll quote you, Eric, still, and I quote you often, this is a crock pot thing. So it's not a microwave thing. It takes time, typically. Trust can be given, it can be earned, it can be expected and granted, and ideally it works. It can come into play very quickly, but not always. So it takes time.
I love that you brought up the trust topic, because I just did a webinar, and I think it was for Automotive World, where I talked about the topic of trust, and I likened it to taking my grandkids fishing. Right? If I take my grandkids out on the boat and I take them out to the middle of the lake where there are no fish, and I give them a fishing pole without any bait on it, and then I start complaining that they're not catching fish, that they're going to stop trusting that I know how to help them catch fish. And I'm going to stop trusting that they're working hard enough to catch fish. And so I have to set the scenario in place in order for them to be successful so that we can build that trust together, right? One of my colleagues called it the trust paradox, if you will. You get into this situation where it's a paradox where people aren't trusting you because you're not trusting them because they're not trusting you, and you're setting yourself up for failure in that whole process.
Amen.
Tell me, how are you, like, you and I, we grew up in this thing. We learned from those who learned from the masters, if you will, when it comes to all this stuff. But we have an entire new generation of workers coming in. We have an entire new generation of, women coming in and minorities coming in who have never been exposed to this stuff. How are you inspiring that group of people, the younger generation? How are you inspiring them to grab a hold of these principles that will always be there, that need to be there?
Well, you and I were talking earlier too on a bit on this topic, respect. I've learned after these many years that people feel how they feel. I need to respect that and do my best to understand it. And just that action alone, that sort of engagement with this new generation, I think sets the table, the stage, the foundation for them being willing and able to grasp this and learn it and implement it and run with it. And so then, coupled with that relationship, respect equation needs to be the constant communication, support, trust, as we've discussed. The more you and I have used these two words often, authorship and ownership. If they will, brand new employees, I tell any new employee, and new is relative, but I say you're the fresh eyes. You bring a different perspective, a new fresh look at this. You potentially are our most valuable source of ideas. And gosh, that gets people immediately both engaged as well as feeling like that they care about me. So it's the lean. There's so much. The evolution of lean it's been requisite that the people part of lean, the people part be amplified and strengthened and solidified, because that's how it works. People will. I've always said, as the general manager, in this case, or the consultant, I don't always need to know everything about every operation, every part of the process. My job is to take care of the people who know those things, who have been hired, trained, certified to do all the various tasks. And my job is to take care of them, and they'll take care of business. And so if I think new employees that are coming into the workforce or coming from a different company or a different world or a different market, that sort of segue is critical.
Yeah, agreed. I couldn't agree more that I love the thought process of the new ideas are the most critical. They really are. They're just unbelievable. So Mike, here's a question for you. How do you talk about the people process? How do you get your middle management team, and what are some of the things that you're teaching them and talking to them about and trying to get them to pass along? I mean, that's a really important, you and I both have been there in that spot. Talk a little bit about your middle management and that thought process.
Typically, seems like middle management is the most static part of a company, an operation. They've seen guys like you and I come and go. They've seen upper management, plant management, corporate management come and go. That they're and I know you will probably remember some of these very days where we were working with middle management and telling them that, you know what, we kind of know how you think you want to play this game. You're just gonna kind of nod and smile, and eventually we'll go away and everything will go back to normalcy, and we're on to you. And they were like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, got us. You got us. That's exactly what we're thinking. So I think with that middle management group, engage them, let them know with certainty that this time it'll be different. And then they'll say, yeah, we heard that before too. But all you can do is ask for that trust and ask them to step up and give where we're going an honest effort, put their best into it. Do they want things to get better? Of course they do. Do all of them deep within their hearts have a hope that this time it can be, oh my gosh, what we've always hoped it could be, and inspire them, engage them, listen to them, especially ask those leading questions, and listen to them and let them know that they are being heard, and that what they have and what they've learned is so valuable. And you and I both have seen that just become an unstoppable wave of energy and positivity. Is that a word? I like it. Positivity.
Positivity. Yeah, I don't know. You just made it up. That's good. That's good. That's a Gladeism.
Can't claim that, but I like it. And we all know what it means. But that middle management, boy, they can make it, they can break it, and they want to make it. In most cases, there may be a few conscientious objectors, and those eventually will flush out. But gosh, you've got a core of critical knowledge. That needs to be valued and utilized, and a relationship established of trust and improvement and progress and hope, all of those things.
Yeah, it's funny. It's you reminded me of a story, and I haven't told this story in quite a while, and maybe I've told it to you. I think I have, but back really when I first started in manufacturing, I built airplanes in Long Beach, California. And this is early '80s, and I can remember talking to a guy running a machine, and I was talking to him, and he said basically, hey, listen, young buck. I made World War II airplane parts on this machine, and I've seen guys like you come and go, and I will see guys like you come and go after you go. And I'm like, yeah, you probably have, there's really nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is tell you I'm trying to do my best, and you and I will try to do our best and just get better. So yeah.
It's
Awesome.
about the people.
Yeah, it really is.
People, motivated people with hope and trust and confidence they're unstoppable. It always is exciting, enlivening, energizing.
The fact that you ended on the fact that it's the folks and their ownership and their authorship of owning the process is just perfect. So man,
Good.
I appreciate your time. I look forward to the next time after all this craziness is over that you and I get to spend some time on the boat together, or we get to spend some time out in the woods together, whatever that is. Or just for those of you who don't know it, Glade's wife makes an amazing stack of pancakes, and so I look forward to that as well. So, buddy,
that.
thanks for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it, and look forward to the next time we're together.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah,
Full speed.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yes,
And
sir.
We'll talk to you later. Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye.